Hello friends and welcome to another video. Now in this one I'm going to make my own ephemera and themed writing paper pack. Now I've noticed with ephemera it can be quite expensive. You're looking at sometimes £4, £5, £6 for a pack of 40 pieces, and usually there are pieces in there that you don't like or don't like as much as others. So I thought, why not make my own pieces where I like everything in it and costs a fraction of the cost. Now the supplies I've used, as you can see, although are a little bit, the paints were a little bit more expensive than normal, you can just use any other watercolour paints. And the paper I've picked from the works, so it's bog standard cheap watercolour paper. Now on this sheet, it's the writing paper that I'm painting at the moment, but it's exactly the same stamp that I've used for the watercolour paper, which you'll see in a second. The colours I've used, now for this flamingo, I've only used one colour. And with watercolour paints, if you don't already know, you basically can just keep adding water to get lighter colours. So, as you'll see, like with that colour there, it's the same colour, it's just not as saturated. So, if you want it lighter, you just pull off less paint, add a little bit more water. And if you want it darker, you just have less water. And the other main benefit is that it's unique to me. I've had the enjoyment of making the ephemera and there is no other piece like it. And doing this was so therapeutic. I could just take my time all day painting. Now, stamping up and doing it this way works really well, I find. With most style of stamps, and the only thing you're limited to is the thickness of your brush. Now this one I think is a 0, you can get smaller brushes, but I find with a little bit of practice this one does me fine. And in a moment you'll see the amount of stamps I have done. I've stuck pretty much to the flamingos, some coffee pots and some pens and painted those up. But to do all of the ephemera pieces I've done took me about an hour and a half to paint it all. And another tip when painting is just to make sure that your ink is dry. Now this is standard stamp ink, but just make sure it's dry and you shouldn't have a problem with bleeding. Now here I noticed that the wings were a bit lighter than I wanted, so I just went in with a darker pink. And you can see if you think a little bit is a bit too dark, just take a bit off your paintbrush before it dries. And there you go, you can see I've painted up quite a few, and some are really vibrant. I've used really dark shades and others are much lighter, and it's using the same colour just in different shades. And here again you've got really vibrant version, and then you've got a lighter, more pastel-y type where it's just less paint that I've used. And then to the fussy cutting. And for those of you that aren't used to doing too much fussy cutting, if you move the paper rather than the scissors, you will get a more controlled cut. And like with ephemera pieces, if you leave a white sort of border, it makes it far easier when cutting. Now this stamp set, you can see in one of my previous hauls, it was just a cheap stamp set. There was nothing special about it. And this is obviously going to be considerably easier to cut out than the flamingo. But I will still leave a little white border, and I think it just makes it look better. And onto the pens. Now these ones were the lighter versions, and although I'm cutting these out as a set of 3, I could just trim them up so they were £1 each. And then finally this coffee cup. Now these were the vibrant colours, and I tend to like doing big batches of these so that I can make up little kits to include in my mail. So after a lot of cutting, I finally ended up with my ephemera pieces and pen pal mail. In the top left hand corner is an envelope I've stamped up with a little quote and the flamingo, although I haven't painted this because it's going through the postal system and I wanted to smudge. In the bottom left hand corner I've done a mini like little pocket which I can put in my ephemera pieces and my letter to my pen pal. I've also done a little ephemera pack that you can see in the middle, which includes the flamingos, the pens, the envelopes and some other little 3 pieces of writing paper I've stamped up and you saw me painting, stickers, a note card, a die cut photo frame and some washi tape. And that's what it looks like all together, packaged up, ready to write my letter. So please comment below and let me know what you think and what ephemera you plan on making. And until next time, thank you for watching, take care, bye!